You're a yummy donut. You're a honey cake. I want to share a story with you. There's a lot of lessons to learn from this one. Friends, back in 2022, we all thought it was over for crypto. I have a scheduled message which has just appeared, and it's giving me goosebumps because it's taken me back as to what was going on back then. And there's a lovely comment in the reply section from somebody who wants to know what changed since then. Has anything changed? I'm going to go through it with you. We're going to discover what happened. Why are the altcoin targets lower? What's happening with the bull market? New things developed, friends. And they're not really new. They were in the charts the whole time. It was just a very unfortunate, teeth-pulling realization that happened instead. So here is one of my famous scheduled posts. I do these posts. I mark a moment in time and I send them out like 3 months or 12 months or 18 months, the full amount. And I'm like, hey, this is a screenshot of what's happening today. Let's go back and revisit because I'm here 18 hours a day. So today is the 7th of July, 2022. Look at this chart, friends. Literally, look at this chart, okay? Bitcoin went down 17K, hovering around 20. Now, this was an absolute freaking disaster, okay? I literally made a post saying, well, the market's caught between two sides. Everybody thinks we're either going to get no capitulation or one capitulation. That's what everybody thought. It was split, friends, 50-50. So if I go back to the chart, everybody thought, up here, that Bitcoin was making this higher low. This is around the 40K zone. Okay, now, by the way, in this zone, this is where there were sinister insider attacks to dump Bitcoin. People attacked Bitcoin. Relentless spot selling started happening. The Luna founder, Dildo Kwon, family-friendly show, Mr. Dildo Kwon, he bought like 40,000 Bitcoin or whatever it was. Maybe it was like 100,000. It was an enormous amount using the Luna funds. And then he had to deploy them, right? Look when he bought them though. He bought them in this circle. And what happens after he bought it, all of this happened. Now, it's spooky because on one hand, it was programmed in the charts. In the other hand, we know that the US Fed and Roca Negra were actively involved in the crypto markets to try to send us to zero. And it makes sense because we embarrassed the US dollar. We were scaring them, making them think, oh my gosh, what's this digital currency? It's making people fearful. It's making people say inflation is going to go to the moon. And they had to basically strangle us again. So it was also confirmed during this time, there were big accounts that came in and started to attack Tether, USDT Tether. I was there. Okay, we were all here. What's funny is there was an interesting post. I think some journalist made an article. It was the biggest load of BS I ever heard. They basically said, don't worry guys, the jury's out. We did all the investigations. No foul play. It was just normal selling from Celsius and everybody went to zero. No, that's a load of BS. We know from the data on chain and how everything happened. And I want to remind you of something. You weren't even here. I was here. I was waking up and synchronized time-specific releases of articles, FUD articles about Bitcoin and stablecoins like Tether were being released right on cue. I remember it hit like 11 o'clock at night and it'll be bang, because that's America waking up, smack. These things were done on purpose. There were FUD articles thrown bang, 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 and it wasn't just one. It was like smack everywhere. Also, in the midst of this chaos, friends, do you want to know what else happened? El Salvador, their average buy price was $40,000 for Bitcoin. When we crashed, there were specific articles that I was posting made by some scum, soy boy, pencil neck journalists with rounded elbows. They were saying that El Salvador was a failure. And what they were doing was they were posting pictures of bribed El Salvadorians. Basically, they take them into an alleyway. They get like 15 people paying $50 each because it's a third world country. They take a snapshot and it's all anti-Bitcoin, anti-El Salvador government pictures. And they're blasting it everywhere, saying, look at the El Salvadorians are rebelling against this. It was all planned. And now it's confirmed that Roca Negra, you know who they are, with the spot ETF, were using their private accounts to accumulate Bitcoin in 2022. I've already made videos on this. It's all 100% facts. I sounded like a cuckoo person saying this back then, right? I didn't know specifically them, but I'm like, man, the insider's accumulating. You can see it in the footprints here. No one believed me. And to be honest, I didn't even really believe myself because just seeing the red candles, friends, we all fit it together, okay? So this is what was happening. And during this time, there was actually a double capitulation, 1 and 2. And when that happened, that scared me because I was like, man, did I fluke it? Do I have a talent? How did I get that right? How did I get it right? Now, here's the thing. I didn't really believe it. I gave it low odds, but no one was thinking about that, friends. No one. The thought of a double capitulation, like no one could even think about that. It's just that I was looking around and I'm like, wait a minute. Most of the people, 2 camps. Some people say we've bottomed and the bull market's going to continue for all of 2022, sorry. And the other people said we're going to get a big fat capitulation. And then I looked at it, I'm like, what if they're both wrong? What if the answer is exactly what played out? I think you can even go to Twitter, you can type in double capitulation, you can see one of my prophecies. Now here's the thing, it went bang and then snap, and that's actually what happened. This first one was lunar, the second one was Celsius and 3AC. Also there was BlockFi and there's other ones. So it was actually 2, right? 1, 2. It's kind of crazy to witness it happen. Also, please enjoy this meme, right? When people waiting on your downfall, but you a goat. Honestly, it's funny. I get messages like every day. People saying, I'm waiting for you to capitulate. Me. You're going to be waiting a long time. Do you know what I've been through? Do you know what I've been through? You don't want to know what I've been through. Nothing's going to take me down, friends. Okay? Nothing. So, crypto going down here was scary. And here's the thing. If you go through my message, look what I said here. I want to know if we made it or if we collapsed into the fiery pit of hell. This is the thing, right? See, you're looking at it like, wait a minute. What do you mean into the fiery pit of hell? That was the fiery pit of hell. Remember, the crowd's always wrong. When we were at those lows, the majority of the crowd said we were going much lower. And here's the thing. FTX collapse happened a few months later. And we did go lower. But 15K wasn't good enough for them. They wanted 10K. And then we reversed back up. So to relive this, it's kind of fascinating to see, right? So here we go. 7th of July, the price today is $20,000. You and I have to remember this too. Do you want to know why that was shocking? That was shocking because watching Bitcoin go down here, right? 20K. See 20K here? It actually hits below, friends. It wicked below. And now we always know, right? It went down to 15K. Every single person on YouTube, mainstream influencers, and Twitter were all in cope mode. And people were saying Bitcoin has never gone below its previous all-time high. And then, if you ask the question, what happens if it does? They say, it can't. Because it would ruin the chart. It would mean something's really wrong. Look what happened. Snap. And I'm going to play some angel music just to remember this time, friends. This was the snap right here, okay? This was 20,000 and we went down. Look at this. We went under it and we snapped down to 16. You got to see how devastating that was. Just that psychological number. I know you look at these candles, we look at it in hindsight, we summarize so much things with our eyes, but that was the most bone-crushing thing, to see 20K fall and be destroyed. One of the Bitcoin maxis, I'm sure he's a friend of the channel, Dan Held, someone leaked a private convo with him. When they messaged him, and they said, hey man, how high do you think Bitcoin's going? And I think it was like, oh, well, yeah, I think it's going like 200K last cycle, right? Because everybody thought. And then they said, oh, well, I think it was like a follow-up. And they're like, hey, can Bitcoin go like back below 20K? He's like, nah, no chance. We'll never see 20K again. He goes, if we do, something's really wrong. Even I'll be worried. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but that post, when was it sent out, friends? Have a guess. No, you don't need to guess anymore. It was literally sent out during these times. So you got to think about this. A dude who's literally got thousands of Bitcoin, who's been in since like 2012, who's a Bitcoin OG, a literal Bitcoin maxi, leaked DMs, and him saying, like literally Bitcoin only, Bitcoin maxi, saying, it's over if that happens. But don't worry, it will never happen. That's why we have to look for the trap. I'm telling you, man, markets are cruel. They find the trap. And then they lay the trap, and they make the trap, and that's it. Everybody walks in like lemmings off the cliff. What's the trap for this one? I'm not going to pretend to know, but if you watch my channel, which you do, and you like subscribe, you know that it's very common to see everybody believe Bitcoin's going to a $100,000 number. No lower. Okay, they say this Bitcoin spot ETF, it's definitely sending us above 100K. Not just like this year, but like for the whole cycle. That is scary because no one was talking that bullish as a majority back in 2020 when I came. And luckily, I'm here as your friend, as literally your guide to tell you, I don't know what the future holds, but something's different. I'm telling you something's different now. When I was bullish in 2020, I was part of the bottom 5% peanut brains who were absolutely schizophrenic and were not taken seriously. Okay. Now, if you're not 100K plus target, you're the schizophrenic one. That's the crazy thing. Also, right, if we go to the comment section, there's a lovely gentleman here who asked, okay, now, Mr. BGN Bubushka. Mr. Bubushka has asked, do you remember what you were thinking back then? Have your plans changed? I know you pulled closer the top from December 2025 to May 2025, around there. Anything else? Because this is important here, how we thought of the future then and now. In the midst of the bear market, there was no point finding any patterns because there are no patterns. You have to let it play out. You have to see what happens. But of course, everybody thought it was over. And let me tell you something. This is the crazy part, okay? You know, when Bitcoin was 20K, there were people basically saying, I know it's tough. I know this is bad, but this is like the easiest 5x you'll make in your life. From 20K to 100K. It's crazy, friends, right? That even in the midst of that turmoil, you see, this is why this is bad, because I'm going to show you why it's bad. Because when I came into crypto at the end of 2018 and Bitcoin dropped down to 3K, no one was saying buy for 100K. No one. Sure, some people had some memes about it. No one was saying that. Everybody was talking about tone vase, right? Monobrow tone vase, talking about 1K. And I promise you, many traders who were profitable, their targets were like 20 to 40K Bitcoin by the end of the decade, 2030. That's what they were talking about. That was, by the way, do you know when they got that target? They got that target after we recovered. So just imagine their target wouldn't have even existed on the way down. It's just that I didn't know them at the time to ask. This is a very different picture to what we have today, right? Because no one was bullish. You got to understand, friends. The crowd's always wrong and how they bake things in. So I know you're probably wondering, why do you care what the crowd thinks? It's because it's a sign of, the pool of people out there who would buy and participate. Back at the end of 2018, the fact that no one could envision Bitcoin above 20K ever again, it means those people are still on the sidelines. There's a lot of them waiting to buy. There's a large pool of people. There's millions of people who don't believe at all. But then you send the price up. Now those millions, they come back in. And that's how you get the thrust up, right? Unfortunately, in the previous bear market that we just had, when we went down here, okay, this was very hard for me to swallow. It took a long time for me to process all of these. I knew something was wrong because I'm you're in cope mode. You're hey, crypto industry, hopefully it doesn't go to zero. But man, a lot of people still say this thing's gone to 100K. So I knew in my mind, okay, They can be wrong, man. It can go to 500K next cycle. That's what I wanted to believe. That's why you just needed time to play out, right? Maybe they were like too bearish, but no. You can see the point now. So remember there's a large pool of people who were outside of crypto back in 2018, and now as you recover, they come back in. In our previous bear market, those big pool of people, not all of them are sitting there waiting to buy in. The sign is that maybe half of them are still in. They're still in. So effectively, you're looking at the potential buyers because you're thinking about future demand, because that's what pushes price up. Everything's about future demand. Everything. The new people coming in. You always got to think about that. The future people coming in, what are they going to speculate on? The fact that people down here were talking about 100K, there's too many people talking about 100K, too many for a bear market in crypto. And I knew, like, crap. It means the technology adoption curve is slowing down. That's what it means. Like, remember that example, man? It means it tells you, like, hey, that's why I started exploring things like, maybe we're just shit. Maybe this tech ain't that good. I'm asking these questions no one dared to ask. I made some videos, friends. You go watch them. They're very cruel for a Bitcoin maxi. They'll never ever admit this. I made videos saying, like, the truth that no one will tell you is Bitcoin doesn't need to go to $200,000 to do its job. It's already done its job right now. It doesn't need to make you wealthier. It doesn't need to. It doesn't need to be the police at $250,000 price. It's already the police of international policy right now. It is. And it's very hard to admit. Why? Because Bitcoin maxis, they're here for number go up. But we are too. But we admit it. We're like, hey, of course everyone here's for number go up. But no, Bitcoin maxis, remember, they were the original ones. The Genesis story of the Bible, right? You know, the ones without sin, the first blockchain. It's very hard conceptually and philosophically for them to wrestle, because once they start going into this number go up admission, then they just become shit coiners like us. And that's why we are poop coiners, right? Or altcoins. They can never admit that. Because by admitting that, logically, they're saying to the community, you know what? I want to make my bags wealthy as higher preference than fixing poor people's money status in the world with money printing. Hope you follow that logic. They're basically saying they want the government to print and make them rich. They want it to happen. But here's the thing. The technology is slowing down. So whether you want it to happen or not, it doesn't really matter. The facts are in the charts. So that's why I'm very skeptical of this $100,000 guaranteed price. And this is the scary part, man. Okay, Bitcoin dropped 77% in the last bear market. Clearly, it's probably going to drop 70% in the next one. Please, friends, just do a minus 70% drop from 100K. That gets you back down to 30K. That's less than what we are today, like a lot less. That is in 2025 and 2026. You are round tripping 5.5 years. You know they print money every single year, right? 5%. You know this is absolutely disgusting. Like, for a number go up thing, you can't. Luckily for you, you know why. It's not, part of it's rigged, but part of it is, okay, you've got 219 million people in the game. You've had hundreds of millions of people. Your city is huge. It's just that, you know, unfortunately, if you listen to people like Plan B, they still think, no, we've only got 2% of the world in. We still got 50x to go. You can believe what you want to believe, friends, but I'll tell you right now, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? Because I'm here to make money. Because I'm telling you, if we get there and there's euphoria and Jim Cramer's calling for 150K, I'll never sell my Bitcoin. I'm telling you, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? Because if we go down from that point, you know what happens. It's game over. Bitcoin drops 50%, altcoins drop 75%. This is in a 90-day window. And then everybody is in the please be a bottom mode. And when everything's like that, you know there's more to rinse. So revisiting that story, I think, is basically can't put a price on that. Because I was here every day. Where did everyone else go? All the altcoin shillers, they disappeared, friends. They ran like little scaredy cats. Why? Can't tell you. We were in anger phase there. You know the Wall Street cheat sheet? Wall Street cheat sheet, friends. It was literally down here. It was Bitcoin anger. During that time, People were angry at Celsius, Alex Mashinsky. They were angry at Do Kwon, the stablecoin. People were angry at all the influencers. There were videos posted and tweets posted everywhere. So many people got caught. Zach XBT was doing heavy research. God bless that kid, because he was just cranking them out. So many influencers, friends, were doing the most snaky, sinful things against the people the whole time. For example, there were influencers, I made threads about them and videos, while they were telling people to put their money into Celsius to receive their $50 per user kickback, they were withdrawing millions of dollars at the same time. And all those people like Tiffany Fong lost everything in Celsius. Trusting them, literally on chain, because guess what? One of the employees was so pissed off with Alex Mashinsky, they just leaked the database. They go, screw it, I'm just going to show everyone's name, and we're able to grab everything. There were also Bitcoin maxis who were Bitcoin only in Twitter. Guess what? Their accounts got leaked. Guess what they have? Ethereum, Chainlink. Do you want to know what's funny, friends? This is the last thing. There were dudes, and girls, by the way, there's a girl there too. They were making posts that yield is a sin. Yield, like actual yield. And they're on Celsius. They're on freaking Celsius, man, making the yield Ponzi. While typing to the Bitcoin maxis and everyone, chasing yield is a sin. Come, hear ye, I am pure. I'm very, very pure. They're all full of shit. Everyone's full of shit, friends. Make sure you like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.